How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? We got quite a bit of news to cover today in just a short period of time. Thank you everybody for joining me on Friday. It's Friday. The news on Friday, like it's meant to be. This feels right. This feels good. Good to see you, Temporis. Good to see you. I got all ready and forgot my coffee on my other desk. There we go. Grab your last coffee of the working week. This is kind of symbolic for me. Don't worry, I'll have one tomorrow morning on stream as well. All right. Let's jump right into it. Since we are limited on time now, I will have hard stopping times. But the first thing I wanted to go over was streaming next week. Saturday, tomorrow, is going to be just the exact same like normal. You can expect to see me here roughly 9:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. And streaming for a couple hours. But next week, it's going to be a little different. There's not going to be a Tuesday night stream or a Thursday night stream. Thursday night, I will be super busy. Tuesday, I'm actually packing for my flight on Wednesday. So anyways, just wanted to cover really quickly what you can expect next week. So if we're looking at next week, next Tuesday at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to post this link here for you guys. At this beautiful time, I have a collab with ChainGuard. We're going to go over securing our Twitch chat or Twitch alerts images, container images with ChainGuard images, as well as a cosign, SigStore cosign signing, so that if other people wanted to use the images, they can validate that it came from me. So we're going to go through that, kind of securing our pipeline at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. Then on May 3rd, let's go to May 3rd. May 3rd, which is this day. Here we go. It's going to start at, let's see. It's going to start at 8:30 Pacific time. 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. Yeah, 11:30. Okay. At 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, we're going to start Database Day. So if everything goes well, we will do one of these a year. Or hopefully we'll do 3 of these a year. I'd like to do an AI day, and I'd like to do a database day once a year, a AI day once a year. I forget the other one I was thinking of. It just slipped my mind. But anyways, this Friday, it's Database Day. We have guest speakers. We're going to be streaming for 12 hours with guest speakers throughout that, talking about database technology. It's supposed to be fun and educational, so hopefully we do both. Please join in and make it a big success, because if you do, I'll be able to put on more of them in the future. So if you're able to join, please do join that, and let them know that people will like it. So yeah, that's next week. I won't be streaming on Saturday. I won't be streaming the news on Friday because we'll be doing the database day. If there's something big and important, we'll cover it on Sunday. So yeah, I'll cover it on Sunday. All right. So there's a couple pieces of really big news going on today. This week. We're going to cover both of them. 2 big things. The first one, which, we'll see if it sticks. Was the U.S. banned non-compete agreements for nearly all jobs. It's nearly because there was some concessions for CEOs that already have non-competes and things like that. So the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission for the United States, banned this. It was pretty close. I think it was a 3-2 vote. Now, that being said, I do believe it has a high chance of being struck down in higher courts. I would love to see this stick. It has a high chance of getting struck down as an overreach of the FTC's rights to do this. Now, I would love to see this stick, and I would love to see it be, I think actually it could have huge benefits on the, the industry I see the most. Now, obviously, there's a lot of industries, but the one I see the most is maybe the game industry, which might mean that you see a increase in the price of video games, because chronically it's very hard for a video game developer to switch companies. Now, this also goes for Google and those larger ones. Now, Microsoft, to give them credit, has already stopped using non-competes a little while ago. So anyways, it's pretty big news. We'll see. Yeah. Carves out exceptions for existing non-competes that companies have given their senior executives. So yeah, anyways, I'm hoping it sticks. The Chamber of Commerce said it would sue the FTC to block the ruling. So, like I said, we'll see. I would be happy for the Chamber of Commerce to block the FTC to doing it and then do it themselves. That would be fantastic. Be like, no, it's not your responsibility. We'll block it. We'll do it. All right. Twitch is saying my bit rate is bad. Does it look okay to you all? Sometimes it complains, it has a red line, but it has a fine bit rate. So I'm assuming there's some other metric that they're looking at that's not bit rate. Like maybe it's fluctuating a lot or something like that, but they don't tell me that part. All right, well, let's move on. Another piece of interesting news that happened, Microsoft has slowly been releasing DOS over the years. So they've released DOS 1 and I think 2.5. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they've released a couple versions of DOS over the years, and it's 1.25 and DOS 2. But as I was saying, they released those to open source for the History Museum and for reference purposes. And at this point, they've released DOS 4.0 under the MIT license, which is pretty cool. I don't know. We might dumpster dive through it as just a learning experience ourselves to understand what MT-DOS looked like, their multitasking DOS. This is before my time. So this is before my time. But yeah, you can go to GitHub and you can view it, which is cool. It's funny that they published it as an archive. They're not accepting pull requests. Okay, they're not accepting pull requests. But in the same repository, they released 1.25, the 2 and 4. Another interesting note here is the 4.0 Aussie release, which was. The 4.0 Aussie release is not the same as the 4.0, but this is basically a recreation of the code based off of some guy who found at least a majority of the code on some floppy disks, which was cool. And so they released that version along with the 4.0. The Aussie branch was the reason Microsoft even looked at doing this. So anyways, it's cool. I'm not sure if we'll dumpster dive. If people are interested in dumpster diving, MS-DOS, .bat files. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Maybe we won't. Okay, well, I can read this. This is fine. This is a bunch of errors. Okay. Maybe we won't dumpster dive this. But anyways, I thought it was worth pointing out. I'm going to I'll post a link to this repository. Actually, I'll link you guys to their release statement. Okay, and now we can get kind of into the cloud news. I'm going to actually do the cloud news before the machine learning. There was actually a little bit of overlap. I had to pick which one goes where, but I went ahead, did cloud news above the machine learning because I feel like this is probably more impactful. Hey, Russell, we already covered the FTC's ban on. We already covered the FTC's ban on non-competes. I figured you would be vocal on that one. All right. So you just ignore things like that? Okay. Fair enough. All right. So let's jump into maybe the big cloud news out there. Now, if you guys follow me for a while and watch my news, I actually covered the first part of this news segment a little while ago, and I actually predicted this part. I didn't predict IBM, but IBM is set to acquire HashiCorp. And I'm going to go into why I think that a little bit. Okay. So IBM is set to acquire HashiCorp. And when HashiCorp made their big sweeping change to their license, I said that HashiCorp had been posting profitable. They had been making money. The only real reason I saw that they were doing that was to increase their sale price or a round of funding, which it seemed weird that they'd be going for a round of funding since they were kind of this profitable actual thing. Not that they don't, but usually companies that are big public entities like that go with stock grants and things like that. They do it a little bit differently than that. So my guess was that they were looking to be sold, and that was my prediction. And I happened to be right. Maybe I flipped a coin and I happened to be right this time, but I am right that HashiCorp was looking to be sold, and IBM swoops them up. So I find this to be incredibly strange. I said on stream Tuesday night that I found the rumor, it was a rumor at that point, to be a little bit strange because I feel like IBM and HashiCorp have set themselves up in a no-win situation, and I'll get into that. So the real reason I think is Nomad. I think Nomad was the target. I know it's $6.4 billion and there's more to HashiCorp than Nomad. But if you had to ask me, like, what in their whole package of things that they had to offer, Terraform, not really. I mean, it's not IBM specific. It doesn't really, bolster them any in that. Vault probably is more interesting of a thing. And of course, their employees. Nomad is a really interesting acquisition. Anyways, let's move on. So they're buying them for a $6.4 billion, which is a lot of money. And they talk about their stuff here. Now, why I think that this is a strange thing, and they've set themselves up in a weird spot. I don't know how IBM goes forward. Now, I would be remiss to have this conversation without talking about how IBM was on the right side of the Linux. And really, without IBM, maybe Linux wouldn't be where it's at. But as of late, as of recently, it would be like Microsoft. Microsoft, as of late, has been pretty good with open source, but they have definitely had their history not being so. And IBM's kind of, in my mind, flipped on that. IBM historically has been very friendly with open source. As of late, it had a little bit of a rockiness with their decisions around Red Hat and how they've changed and pushed Red Hat. Now, maybe that was Red Hat just wanting to go down that track, but it feels very much like an IBM thing. So why this $6.4 billion acquisition feels weird is it feels like even if you wanted Nomad and those types of things, it's a very hard win for them. The way they could get developer love back is by open sourcing all the things that were closed sourced. But that seems counterintuitive, and they probably closed sourced them for this sale. That would be my assumption, is that they changed the licensing for this sale. So they probably don't want to do that. Nomad's thing is that it runs on any cloud, though. So having it as open source, I don't know what they're doing. We'll see. I think it's a hard sell. A rocky Linux, some might say. Very good. I like that. So, anyways, that was big on the news. What are you guys thinking about this? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We've talked a little bit about it in Discord. And yeah, I'll keep an eye out, see what they do. Let's move on to the rest of the clouds. GCP is announcing PyTorch XLA 2.3. So basically, this is just following the open source project, but they're making it available on GCP only a week after XLA 2.3 was released. It comes with a couple big advantages with not multi-threading, but distributed scaling of your machine learning application and algebraic math. There's a lot of linear algebra, from latent semantic analysis to recommender system, deep learning, and linear regression. That's what I was thinking. A lot of that linear algebra out there is core to what PyTorch, XLA, and all these machine learning frameworks do. And basically, they brought a lot of improvements for distributed linear algebra. And so that's pretty cool. So if you guys are doing that on GCP, it got quite a bit better from what I've read. I haven't leveraged it or used it. So, but from reading through this, it seems like it got a lot better. It got easier to support GPUs and stuff as well. So that's pretty cool. And that came after their Next, or I just missed it. I think it came after Next because XLA got released after Next as well. So that's probably why it didn't make it for their next conference. Well, Russell, there are more people using IBM's cloud than there are people using Null Cloud. So it's at least bigger than that. I think it's very weird. Like, HashiCorp's whole tool bag was multi-cloud. And it feels like IBM is pushing their cloud. And so, like, HashiCorp doesn't seem... like from my perspective, let's say I make the Null Cloud and it actually becomes a thing. There is no incentive for me to make a tool to deploy your app across multiple clouds. Unless if that's your selling point, is that you can deploy on our cloud and somebody else's cloud just as easily. But that feels weird. I don't know. I think the real buying point was Nomad. But the thing is, like, if they stop running Nomad across different clouds, that's a huge downplay. And if they support running Nomad on IBM Cloud, well, you could have done that without buying them. It seems like a waste of money. So while I think that was their goal, I'm not sure the real play with it. Right, Russell. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have anything that the other ones don't have. I'm in agreement. I don't understand why. I don't understand. But HashiCorp doesn't have a big AI, I don't know how that helps IBM with that either, right? Like, I do really struggle with why they were doing this. Although it seems to be their goal. I mean, they bought Red Hat. They bought, like, now they bought HashiCorp. They're buying these large, used to be open source companies. IBM's Watson. How does it help Watson, though? I'm not sure I get how buying them helped Watson, but maybe it does. Maybe it's just, do you think it was just a talent acquisition? That hurts. That feels like an expensive talent acquisition. That I could see. Kind of like I have a good hair day. My hair has a mind of its own. So my guess is that it's something for the multi-cloud. I know that, like Azure has Azure Arc and GCP has Agape, whatever GCP has, and AWS has AWS Anywhere. They have these things, and I'm guessing you're right, Russell. Something around Nomad. They're going to leverage Nomad to do their multi-cloud. That would be my only guess. That they wanted to do it differently and not use Kubernetes like everyone else did, and do their own thing. That's my guess. All right, let's that again. The best part of that news, the best takeaway is that I called it. I said that they were going to try to get sold. That's probably never going to happen again. But my coin flip worked out. So I want you all to know that this is the best place for the news because I predict the future. All right, let's get back into the actual news that's happening. All right, Google Cloud is offering new AI cybersecurity and data analytics training. I'm posting this. Maybe I can sell Null Cloud to them for billions. You know what? I like to be like I'm altruistic, and I wouldn't do that. But if somebody offered me billions for something I wrote on stream, I would. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I will take it, and we'll do something else with that billions of dollars. Okay, like we'll do something else with that billions of dollars. Then get one of those rack servers. I will have an Oxide rack if it's the last thing I do. All right. So I'm pointing this out because I saw it. Google released some ones. There's actually some free ones here. So the introductory AI course is free. So you can go and take it and get an introductory one at no cost. So if you're wanting to take that, go for it. I don't know how good these are, but there are some classes, and some of them are absolutely free. Generally, the introductory ones or the ones that I saw were for free, and then you could pay for the intermediate and advanced ones. So if you're looking to get into that, I took one of their AI ones a couple years ago, and I thought it was pretty good, one of their free ones, and I've taken one of their free security ones. The security one was introductory, maybe. Maybe I was expecting a little bit more from it. It was introductory. So yeah. Your company spends millions on Google Cloud. Well, if they're looking to switch to the null cloud, they can spend millions on me, and I will give them a really great price. I promise. All right, let's move to Azure. Azure had quite a few things. Some of these I thought should be in the machine learning section, but we're covering them in the Azure since we're doing cloud news first, is introducing Phi 3, redefining what's possible with SLMs, which is a small language model. So I guess Phi 3 Mini is a 3.8 billion language model, and it's pretty good, and it handles 128K token windows, which it means it accepts a larger. So a lot of the small models only accept a very small sentences, or else they start hallucinating the garbage out of things. And so supposedly this one handles 128. Very interesting. So one of my goals this year is to run all of Twitch alerts on our data center. But that means that I'm very constrained by compute, and it means that I need to have a small model. Now, there's some evidence that Llama 3 will work. I've seen it on a Raspberry Pi, but the response times are terrible. But there's a chance that we get it to work. But there's also these Phi 3 models coming out. So I'm very interested in seeing these. These are open AI models, not open AI, but they're not open source by the definition, but basically anybody can get them and use them. So that's very interesting. I'm watching these. So I'm interested. The null cloud doesn't need artificial intelligence. It has real intelligence. Russell, you are good marketer. I just need to now follow through. All right. Following along with that in Azure's AI release announcements, this follows right on the coattails of Google's Next, where there was a lot of AI stuff released. There's updates to AI search. The big things that you can, just at a high level, you can achieve more scalability at a lower cost. So effectively, they're lowering the cost. They have better integration with RAG. So this is basically how you keep your AIs from hallucinating. And they're I looked into this, and I'm blanking on what this actually meant, because it's basically word salad. Apply advanced search strategies to navigate complex data to innovate. They upgraded their search. It actually does mean stuff, but it basically allows you to, I don't remember. Do some things you weren't able to do. So they upgraded their search. I think the RAG workload for adding the RAG to the AI search is probably the biggest deal. This is really powerful. So on next Friday in our database thing, at the end of the day, we're going to build we're going to take a documentation website. We're going to basically make an AI powered chat thing, and we're going to use a database that supports vectors. You guys probably can't guess the database we're going to use, but we're going to use a database that supports vectors to build a RAG, and you're going to get to see the difference of what the LLM will do, the large language model will do without a RAG versus with a RAG, because it's actually pretty big. So hopefully the 3 hours that we have to do it, we're going to be able to do it. And that's should be a lot of fun, but you'll see why a RAG is so important. It does have an extra index. It does. Thank you, Russell. I believe that's one of the big things that came up with it. Improvements with indexing was definitely part of it. and the vector index size. Okay, Index Advisor in Cosmos DB. Okay, so there was a huge amount of work done to Cosmos DB. I'm not going to cover each and every aspect of it. I just have a couple here to show you guys. Actually, we'll put this. Okay, I just have a couple here to show you guys that there was a lot. So if you're using Azure Cosmos DB, you should check it out. Some of these I think better support RAGs and stuff like this, like the Index Advisor and Cosmos DB help you optimize your index policy for NoSQL queries. But then there was also a ton for the Postgres, so like the geo redundant backup and restore, Azure Database for Postgres, flexible server, enhanced disaster recovery features. So, and this was just the tip of the iceberg. There was like 12 things for Azure DB. Of the 12, there was probably like 9 of them were for PostgreSQL. So if you're using Azure DB with PostgreSQL, there was a lot of updates, and I encourage you to go check that out. It seemed like they put quite a bit into it. And so yeah. So yeah, go check it out. I didn't actually go. I don't pull up each one of them just because there was a lot of them. I just pulled up some so that you guys could see that, yeah, Azure DB, Azure Database got a lot of updates, a lot of them for Postgres, but not all of them. And the last thing was general availability of the application gateway web application firewalls. We call them WAFs. So there was an inspection limit and size enforcement that was brought to their WAF, giving you better control over your WAF and some of the different things that you could enforce through it. So this is nice to see. This is nice to see. And finally, we get to add AWS. Didn't see a whole lot there. One interesting thing was that as soon as AWS started charging for IPv4 addresses, you start to see some new features for IPv4 addresses, which is AWS supports dynamically removing and adding auto-assigned public IP addresses. I think that this is going to be niche help. I don't know that this is going to affect a ton of people, but for those that it might affect, there you go. The other two things was custom model import for Amazon Bedrock. You know, I put this with a grain of salt. It's big if you're an Amazon Bedrock, but every metric that I've seen, everything that I've witnessed at this point says that Amazon Bedrock is pretty much garbage for machine learning, or not garbage, worse than the competition. And so it comes with a grain of salt that you can custom model import for Amazon Bedrock. This is something they have mentioned that they were working on because not a whole lot of people actually use Bedrock. And the last thing was Amazon Titan image generator model in Amazon Bedrock is now generally available. Again, this goes to it's generally available. It's generally worse than the other competition. But if you're using it, if you're only on AWS, it's probably better than anything we've done. Now, while we're taking this break between cloud and machine learning, which I know that we've just talked about a lot of machine learning, during this break, I want to bring our focus back to next week. Next week's streaming schedule is all whack because I'm going to be traveling. That being said, Tuesdays and Thursdays streams are out, but we have an extra Tuesday stream. So next Tuesday, we have a stream at, let's see, Tuesday is not on this link. Let's go back to Tuesday, Tuesday the 30th at 7:15 a.m. I'm actually going to try to start at 7, whether we actually start at 7 or not. It's early for me. 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to post this link in here for you guys to use. Cat Muffin, this is a fun trip. It's going to be fun for you guys. So at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, I'm streaming this. I'm working with ChainGuard. ChainGuard's going to come in. Adrian from ChainGuard is going to come in and help me. We're going to scan the Twitch alert images that we have now. We're going to find the security vulnerabilities. We're going to switch over to using the free publicly available ChainGuard images that we can leverage to get rid of all the CVEs. And then we're going to, in our pipelines, sign them with SigStore and PubKey and secure them, leveraging those so that you know if you guys use my Twitch alerts, which is an open source project, if you use the Docker containers, you also know those came from me because they were signed by me. So we're going to be doing that in the morning. It should be a lot of fun. Adrian is much more experienced with that. He's going to bring a lot of knowledge. If you guys want to come and ask him questions, I would encourage you to. So that should be fun. Then there's no stream on Tuesday or Thursday because I will be in California. And on Friday, May the 3rd, right here, starting at 11:30, I'll probably start a little early, but 11:30-ish Eastern Standard Time or 8:30-ish Pacific Time, we're starting Database Day. Database Day is going to be a 12-hour stream. I have lined up a lot of guest speakers to talk about database things. Please, if you can make it and support this, it would be huge. I'd like to do more of these. I'd like to do an AI day. I'd like to do other days once a year. And I'd like to do Database Day again next year. And I'd like to make them better and get more people on board for making more educational content during those days. And, it would be cool to turn them into like 24-hour streams for, a whole day with other people leading sections of it so that I can actually sleep because I'm an old man. So the more people that join and hang out and learn, hopefully the more traction we can get. I'd love to do one on databases. Well, we're doing one on databases on May 3rd. It's only a 12-hour stream. And then in the future, if we can, we'll get guest speakers and do an AI day. And if we can, we'll do guest speakers. I want to do like an open source day, an all open source day. We'll work on them. It would be cool if we got one of these days once a quarter. There is an ad break. We're going to run it. I'm forced. I've been snoozing it. I'm going to run it right now. I'm going to continue talking about this, not the news. So anyways, if you can join in, please do. Even if you're just lurking, that would be fantastic. But we're going to start the day off with consensus. I have an expert on consensus that's going to join us. We're going to then get to talk to the founder of a database company. We're going to talk to him about the trends in databases that he sees, the things that he's excited about, and we're going to get the backstory of how he got into databases, what he did his PhD thesis in, and some things like that, which is going to be a ton of fun. Then we're going to talk to a leading expert in database indexes, and we're going to talk some about indexes. That's going to be cool. And then at the very end of the day, and we have actually some other random stuff going on in there. Like, I'm not going to spoil it. We have some other random stuff. We're going to make clips of them that are going to go on the Null Bytes. Don't worry. But there's some really good content. I'm very, very excited about it. Please join and support it with your views if you can. And at the very end of the day, we're going to make, I think it's at 6 p.m. I will release a full schedule at the end of this weekend. We're going to make a chatbot powered by LLMs and a RAG using a vector database. So that should be a ton of fun. Maybe we get it all the way done. I think we can do it in 3 hours. We can do it in 3 hours. With chat, I'm super slow with chat, so there's a chance that we don't, but hopefully we do. Yeah, I'm going to need snacks and drinks. I'm actually going to, so a guy that I work with, Art, is going to co-host it with me. So there's going to be breaks for me to not be streaming. And Art is going to do some stuff with you all, which is going to be fantastic. Which databases are being featured? So I will break the news for you guys that all of this is getting featured by Aerospike. Wow, our website does not do well with Dark Reader. Does not do. I'm going to have to talk to our website people. All right, so this is the company I work for, and I do consider them to be sponsoring it because they are footing. I'm not getting paid for this stream. I'm not getting paid for it, but they are footing the bill for things that I need for the stream, as well as the people there. So if you're wondering what database will be featured, it will be Aerospike this time. Now, database day in the future, if other database providers want to join in, I'm happy for that. I'm happy because again, the content is not focused on Aerospike. The RAG, the vector database that we're going to build, is going to be built on top of Aerospike because that's what we know. But the stuff about indexes, the stuff about all those types of things are designed for engineers, not for Aerospike. So I want to be clear that while they're making this possible, and I consider them supporting it because they are making it possible, and I'm going to ask you guys to give them, check them out during the stream because they are making it possible, and I'm super appreciative that they're making it possible. It's not about Aerospike. It's not about Aerospike. It's about databases, learning about them, and leveling up your database game. So I'm super appreciative to them, and but like I said, I'm not getting paid for it. But they are giving me the day off. They're paying for my flight to go out and actually video those people. So effectively, I mean, they're effectively. I don't know what the official term. I don't get any monetary benefit out of it, but they're making it happen. So I'm super appreciative. Thanks, Russell. I already let. So, anyways, I don't make a dime off of it, but they are making it happen. Again, I have been clear that I wanted it to be about learning about databases. And Srini, the owner of Aerospike, or the founder, is 100% okay with that. Now, we are going to get to talk to Srini, the founder of Aerospike, and we're going to get to hear a little bit about his story about Aerospike. So there's going to be some of that for sure. But yeah, hopefully the goal is let's learn about databases. And yes, we're going to be using Aerospike's newly released vector database for our RAG, which is going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun. It does mean they only support Java and Python, so it does mean that our AI is going to be a freaking on. But we're going to live. We're going to live. It's going to hurt me at my core. It's going to hurt me at my core, but so anyways, I'm just trying to be very honest with, I don't want you guys to think I'm biased. I'm obviously biased, obviously. But I try to be as open about my bias as possible for everyone because I'm here to help us learn. That's my number one bias. And if that means I have to turn down money to not be biased, that means I have to turn down money because I'm biased about learning. Now, if people can help me drive the learning, I'm all for that. Anyways, all right. I'm running out of time for the news, so let's keep moving forward. And I'm hopefully you guys are excited, and hopefully you can come and join us in the day. And hopefully we can do, like I said, I would love to do one of those a quarter. That would be the most fun. And if I could get other companies on board, that would be super exciting. So I'm hoping it goes well, and we can get other companies to join in doing those types of things. All right. Let's get into AI ML news. There's some tasty stuff that's coming out. There's some tasty stuff. Microsoft is stopping employees from using Perplexity AI chatbot. So Microsoft has been known to be locking people down to using their own stuff. And this continues. Now, there's speculation on whether this is Microsoft not wanting secrets, like Microsoft secrets, to be leaked, or if it's merely dog fooding and they want Microsoft employees to be making Microsoft tools the best that they can be. I have mixed thoughts myself on this, but I'm just reporting the news. I don't have an insight. I actually know people that work at Microsoft, but I will never leverage personal relationships for inside knowledge, because they're not supposed to be telling people that type of stuff. So unfortunately, that's as much as I can tell you. Unless they want to talk publicly about it, then that's fine. I'll talk about it. But yeah. Anyways, so that's happening. This I found very interesting. Eric Schmidt, Google, if you guys don't know who Eric is, has backed Augment, a GitHub Copilot rival. It launches out of stealth with $252 million. That's a whole lot of... It emerged with a near unicorn post-money valuation. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the best part is it's powered by your guys' code that you've written for open source. It's a win-win, right? So anyways, the platform Augment. Now I haven't been able to use it. As soon as I can, we will do a stream or two with Augment. Hopefully they have a Vim plugin so they don't force me to use VS Code, but it seems like most of these that come out focus on VS Code, which makes sense. So I'm expecting it to come to VS Code first. So I'll be keeping my eyes on that. We'll see how well it does, if it's really worth $1 billion valuation. We'll see if it's really the next thing. I've seen a lot of these from, I want to say Dax, but Devin. Yeah, Devin. I'm wondering if it's worth as much as they're putting into it. We'll see. Now, I talked about this. I talked about this a little bit. I'm just recapping it for the AI news. Basically, Microsoft created a Phi 3, a small language model that does some really good stuff. It says that it approaches ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo, which is what our Twitch alerts use. So that's with a much smaller size. So that's actually pretty fantastic. I'm pretty excited about it. And this last piece of AI news reminded me of something. If nobody knows, during the blockchain craze, a Long Island iced tea renamed itself Long Blockchain Corp. And I feel like we've almost reached that with AI. I think we've almost jumped the shark. We're like midway through the shark jump with AI, as New Relic has rebranded stuff with AI monitoring, which I still don't quite understand what they mean by AI monitoring, but it exists now, so we can use it. And it exists. I'm moving on. That's it for my AI news. We're halfway through the shark jump. AI and monitoring equals if statements. How many star coders? Oh. If people don't know, we use Starcoder, and it got destroyed by our test. It did not do the mental triathlon of the AI games very well, and it died as one Starcoder. So a little bit of an inside joke there. I appreciate it, Russell, because you bring these inside jokes in, which, like, You've been here for a while. Thank you. All right. Anybody else see anything else in the AI news? Literally, One Star Coder gave up on it gave up on one of our questions and just started writing a romance novel in the middle of our technical question, which was pretty hilarious. I have that saved. It got kind of spicy. It was like a romance novel that it started hallucinating in the middle of its technical question. It was pretty fantastic. All right. I have one piece of open source news to end the day with. Ubuntu Desktop 2404 long-term release. Noble Numbat is getting released. It's been 20 years in the making. Now, this actually comes with a lot of exciting new things that I thought was worth talking about. One of those is a 12-year commitment to its long-term release. What is a numbat? I don't know. It's what I call my son when he's being stupid. Stop being such a numbat. I don't know. I also don't call him that. That's a joke. Probably a Pokemon. Possibly. So 12 years is actually pretty amazing that they're actually supporting this for that long. It's a pretty big jump in long-term support. It's a pretty long-term. Oh, it's long-term support. That's what the S is. I don't know why I was blanking on that. Anyways, so they've done a lot of work, and I think one of the things that brought this about, if you read into it, if you look through all of this, they brought the desktop version more in line with the enterprise version of Ubuntu. So they brought the installer to use the same core. They brought the networking to use the same core. They brought a bunch of things from the enterprise version that I actually love running to the desktop version. So I recommend that you go and read it. It has a new installer, so they pretty much rethought a lot of stuff from the ground up. We've seen some of this going through Ubuntu. I think that Canonical remains one of the last enterprise open source editions out there. You know, there's Red Hat, but you can. I actually run Ubuntu Enterprise for the Null Cloud. I've contemplated Debian, but we're running. They're still married to GNOME for some reason. GNOME. I doubt it's gotten any better. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think people love GNOME, but I've hated its snapping. It doesn't snap well. Yeah. Anyways, they brought consistent networking across the desktop with NetPlan. Again, they brought a lot of stuff together, which I think is why it's going to be easier for them to offer a longer term support, because it's in line with their enterprise edition as well now. So I think that was kind of the plan. And so I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's out there. It was released. Ready for IBM Vagrant? You think that's why they bought it? Is for Vagrant? I struggle with IBM's decision, but IBM's minds work much differently than that of my own. And so, you know, it is not quite for me to say what IBM plans to do. Yeah, I think the best thing that Russell and I have come up with is a multi-cloud strategy. I don't know what that is yet, but if they were going to come out of this as a winner, it would be with some multi-cloud strategy. like AWS Anywhere or whatnot, where they support running their cloud on other people's clouds. I also think that Nomad is the most interesting piece of software they got out of it, but yeah. All right. Well, that was the first news on Friday. Now, unfortunately, next Friday, no news. If something really big like IBM buying another open source company happens, I will do the news on Saturday or Sunday. I will do the news on Sunday. If there's things of importance, I will announce that in Discord. But if not, we just have Database Day on Friday. Please attend and join. Database Day is going to be huge. We're going to do a lot of stuff. I'll be releasing those videos on my you know what? Have you guys not seen? My daughter has done the thumbnail. And we have another one coming out today. But we are releasing these things on the Null Bytes YouTube channel. So go subscribe there. We will be breaking out all of our conversations into the Null Bytes slowly over time. But my 8-year-old is making me thumbnails. So they're better than my thumbnails, which are nothing. So she's going to be making some thumbnails for the content. If you guys didn't see the AI interview me, I got interviewed by an AI, absolutely destroyed me. You could check it out. I'm going to make a long form content review. I don't know exactly how that's I'm going to make a long form on this. And a long form, I mean like a 5-10 minute discussion of my thoughts on it, how it went and whatnot. But all right. Anyhow, thank you all for joining the news. I hope to see you next week for our special events. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm streaming tomorrow as usual. I won't be streaming on Sunday. It's going to be amazing to have a day off. Love to see you guys. I have to get to a meeting now. I will see you guys later. Thank you. Have a nice day. And have a fantastic rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend. I can say that now because we're doing it before the weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. See you guys tomorrow. I'll get used to doing these on Fridays, and hopefully I won't schedule meetings right at the end of this because that's what I have today. Usually I don't, but I do today. So I got to go. Bye. See you guys.